Hey everybody, my name is Ricky. Welcome back to Z Suites, and what we have in store for today is the Dummy's Guide to Paying Your Credit Card. You'll be surprised how many people don't know how much of your limit you should actually use. Should I leave a balance at the end of the month? And when should I pay it off? So in this video, I want to detail every single step of the way to give you a nice, simple guideline to follow. That way you can maximize the benefit of using your credit card while increasing your credit score. Step number one is know the limits to every single card you have. It can be $100, $1,000, $10,000. It does not matter. You need to know the individual limits on each card, no matter what. As we begin to understand what we have to work with, we'll know how to properly manage what we have to do going forward. So step one is know your credit limits. Now step number two is know the key dates. A lot of people know the due date of their credit card bill, but another important date to know is the billing period end date. Keep in mind that both of these dates have a key component of your credit score. You have your payment history and your credit utilization. Obviously, as you pay your bill on time, you'll have a strong credit history, but you need to manage the balance at the end of every billing period. That way your utilization is as low as possible. You need to understand that that bill that's due on January 15th likely has transactions that happen between December 1st and December 31st. So in this example, I would say that my billing period end date is likely around the end of the month, while my payment due date is towards the middle of the following month. You need to note these key dates, not just the payment due date, but also the billing period end date. And that leads to step number three, which is find your usage limit. Don't get that confused with what the credit limit is on your card. What you want to do is take that full credit limit that you got in step number one and multiply that by a percentage. The max you should pick is 30%. But I like to choose 10%, closest to zero as possible. This simple calculation will give you an amount that you can use on that credit card no matter what, and it will likely not affect your score negatively. So to put that in perspective, if I had a credit card that had a $2,000 credit limit and I wanted to keep my utilization rate at around 10%, I'll take that 2,000 times 10%. Now I know it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes we overspend throughout the month or we have a one-time charge that exceeds that amount, but this is just a baseline. And that also leads us to step number four, which is pay down your balance at least 3 business days before the billing period end date to at least or below your usage limit. Now, let's take a step back so we can digest this step because it's extremely important in understanding this entire process. With any payment that you make, you need to allow lag time for this payment to process. If I make a payment today, it probably won't apply to my account in 3 business days and lower the current balance that we have. Now, the ultimate purpose of this step is to get your utilization rate below 30% or whatever percent you set your usage limit to. Not only does this serve a purpose of increasing your credit score, but it also gives you insight to if you're overspending or overusing the credit that you do have. Sometimes you need to take a step back and reevaluate. Please don't find yourself getting caught in the credit trap of carrying a balance, getting hit with fees and interest, then the balance increases and you miss a payment and ruining your credit. And this leads to step number 5, which is set auto payments for the minimum amount due. Understand that this is a safety net. Life can get crazy and you can forget about things. We understand that, but you need to learn to automate the things that you can that will protect your financial well-being. A late payment on your credit score can haunt you for years, even if it was just a $25 bill that was due. This can directly lead you to higher interest rates on new credit that you get, or even get you denied from future credit. Trust me, this auto pay is a lifesaver. All it takes is that one time where it happens, where it's going to save you from the heartache of an instant drop of your credit score. But ideally, we need to be paying off our balances in full every single month. Not only will you avoid the crazy interest charges that come with credit cards, but think of it conceptually. If you can't pay a bill off when it's due at its due date, which is likely almost a month after the transaction happened, you can't pay for something that you bought nearly 2 months ago. So you need to learn to accept credit cards as a tool, but also understand the pain that they could be if you don't utilize them correctly. And that's really it. That's the Dummy's Guide to Paying Your Credit Card Bill. Wash, rinse, repeat those simple 5 steps and you'll cover all your bases. No payments will be missed because you set your auto pay. Utilization will be guaranteed under 30% because you set your usage limit. And as you begin to lower that limit, you'll begin to prioritize your spend and make it easier to manage your cash flow. Now, a couple side tips to make this whole process easier is try to align your billing period end dates and payment due dates on as many cards as possible. That way you aren't doing this all throughout the month and it can be centralized in a shorter time span. Another tip is to be proactive in asking for credit limit increases. After say 6 months of good usage and payment history, ask them for a limit increase. Just think, an extra $1,000 on a credit card can mean another $100 to $300 depending on your usage limit that you can use, all while not negatively impacting your credit score. And lastly, don't become a victim of the 0% interest rate for 12 months promotion. Trust me, you'll say that you're going to pay it in 12 months, you'll rack up a balance. When that 12 months ends, you won't have the money to pay for it, and you'll get caught in the cycle of having to catch up. Just don't do it if you know you won't manage it correctly. And really, that's it. That's the Dummy's Guide to Paying Your Credit Card. Very simple steps, very simple application with big benefits to you. My name is Ricky. Welcome to Z Suites. We'll see you at the top.